jump right in. So Vladimir Putin is he's taken the next step, as everyone predicted. The Kremlin says that Putin will sign treaties to annex Ukrainian regions. Supposedly this will happen in the next 24 hours or so. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday will formally move to seize 4 Ukrainian territories by signing documents that the Kremlin is calling accession treaties. The signing ceremony is to take place in the Grand Kremlin Palace on Friday. Marks Putin's attempts to annex the regions of Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhzhia, even though Russia does not fully control any of them, either militarily or politically. Well, that's great. That's good news. The move, in defiance of stern international warnings, including from President Biden, potentially slams the door on diplomacy for years to come, and almost certainly assures further escalation of the war in Ukraine, with Kyiv insisting it will fight to reclaim all of its lands, and Western allies promising to send more weapons and economic assistance. So, first of all, anyone with a brain would have been able to see this one coming. Really, it takes a very cursory understanding of Russia and Ukraine's kind of diplomatic relations. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't consider myself an expert at all, but all I know is I predicted this shit in February. And I know that there's a lot of people going around town saying that, oh, well, this war is actually, it's a defensive war. That's right. Russia's invading their neighboring country defensively. Oh, okay. Because of NATO expansion. Oh boy. So we're going to go into another country, committed genocide to defend ourselves. That's a great idea, right? I don't know, man. I think anybody that thinks that Putin is doing some 7-dimensional chess here or some shit, I don't know. I personally think they're pretty fucking stupid. It's obvious that Vladimir Putin is an imperialist warmonger. He doesn't give a shit about human life other than his own. Probably not even really much so his own, to be honest with you. I mean, have you seen this guy's health recently? Ooh, right? Anyway, so this is a recipe for disaster. Of course, Putin has said if anyone attacks the Russian motherland, he is not afraid to use nuclear weapons. So if he, just wants to call Eastern Ukraine Russia, and then Eastern Ukraine goes into Eastern Ukraine, and then he's going to drop a nuke on them for attacking the Russian motherland. I don't know. It's a little scary. We could all be dead in a week from now. Let's see what happens. So Putin's recent declaration of a partial military mobilization intended to activate hundreds of thousands of reinforcements for deployment to Ukraine, and the sabotage this week of 2 Nord Stream natural gas pipelines in the Baltic Sea have raised fears that Russian leader is readying for a long hybrid conflict with NATO. Russian officials have also warned that it could use a nuclear weapon to defend the Ukrainian territories once they are absorbed into Russia. Great! Putin's move, which is a blatant violation of international law, will further isolate Russia, triggering new Western sanctions. Oh, because the last ones did a great job. But Putin nonetheless appears to hope that a long, brutal war will eventually fray Western support for Ukraine and curtail military and economic aid that is providing a lifeline to Kyiv. So, once again, I mean, Vladimir Putin doesn't care at all about international law. He doesn't care at all. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be real, right? Neither does the United States. Neither does China. Neither does India. Neither do any of these, so-called large nations, right? They don't give a fuck about human rights. None of us do, right? But Putin is he's that's what he's doing here. He's dropping all the pretense, right? He's I don't give a shit. We all know that we all violate human rights on a daily basis. I'm going to do it out in the open. The United States does it out in the open, and everyone pretends that they're so brave. And, oh, so brave. I mean, look what happened in Afghanistan and Iraq for the last 20 fucking years, right? China does imperialism all the fucking time, human rights abuses, right? All of these major countries do. India, Brazil, Israel, for God's sake, right? So a lot of these countries are constantly committing gigantic amounts of war crimes on a daily basis. Putin is just well, I'm going to do it a little bit more strategically than the rest of y'all. And that's pretty much it. That's really what's going on here. He's baiting the whole world into going to war over Ukraine. And that's the thing. It's is NATO going to go to war over Ukraine? Because if they were, maybe it would have been a better thing to do it 6 months ago. And if they're not, well, then why even bother sending them aid, Or, who knows what's going to happen here? I don't know. My opinion is this is really bad, and we could all be dead in a week, and so let's all thank our dear leaders the old dying men, the like fucking octogenarian fucking like loser, like low self-esteem, balding fucking men are in charge of this fucking stupid ass fucking world that we live in. Like, again, we have 5 to 10 extremely mentally ill schizophrenic patients just running this whole fucking country, or rather running the whole globe, right? Just 5 to 10 totally unwell, currently experiencing psychosis people, motherfuckers like playing video games, but oh wait, no, it's the real world. They're in charge of us. So great fucking world. It's a great world that we've made for ourselves, but it's all gonna be over soon. But anyway, that's the thing, is obviously this is illegal, obviously this is immoral, but really it's a raw power move. Is anyone gonna stop him? And if he drops a nuke in Ukraine, is anyone gonna stop him? And also, again, okay, so he claims that Eastern Ukraine is Russia, but also he doesn't like Ukrainians. He thinks Ukrainians are subhuman, right? So why not drop a nuke in Ukraine, or rather in Russia, Ukraine, or right? Why not drop a nuke there? It's in Russian land according to him, and he doesn't like Ukrainians, right? Why not drop? Oh, we're just testing our nuclear capabilities within our borders. Just happens to be on the Ukrainian population that we just held captive a couple days ago. Just, totally by coincidence, But anyway, shit's getting pretty crazy. I don't know, man.